Hello everybody, my name is Zool, and welcome to another episode of Modding Fallout New Vegas. Are you tired of living the same old boring life out on the wasteland? Do you feel like there's something missing in your life? Do you feel just a little bit lame? Well, I'm gonna show you a couple of steps that can take your life from this to this. That's right, with the introduction of weapon mods, we are going to take your game to the next level and take you from the first guy to this badass right here. So in today's episode, we're going to be installing a bunch of different mods. These mods add a bunch of changes to your weapons. We're going to be adding caliber, which is going to be changing the ammo system in the game. We're going to be changing the weapon animations and the weapon textures to make all the weapons look really good. We're also going to be adding EVE, or Energy Visuals Enhanced, to the game. This is going to improve your energy weapons and make things look amazing. So you get those awesome kills with the huge explosions and the cascades and everything else. All of these mods are awesome, and I would highly recommend them, which is why they're in this video. So buckle up and get ready to go, because the installation process will be upon us soon. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay, we're going to start off the installation with Caliber X. Head over to the description and click on the link to get to this mod. Then we're going to go ahead and download the main file, which you can find right here. You're going to notice there's a lot of things required, including the JIP and the Lutana plugin. Fortunately, we downloaded both of those earlier, so just click the download button and you're good to go. You'll notice there is two different patches here. If you plan on using something like Weapons of the New Millennium, which we're not using, then you can go ahead and download that patch. Next up, we're going to download the Weapon Animation Replacer. This mod we are going to need to download manually. We are going to download both the Rifle Animation Pack, and we are going to download the Pistol Animation Pack, both manually. After you've downloaded those files, head over to the Weapon Animation Replacer's FOMOD file by Gopher. And what you're going to do is you're going to download the Nexus Mod Manager version of this file. So just download that right there. It's going to tell you it requires the Weapon Animation Replacer. Don't worry, we have those. And download that one manually as well. You're going to need to bring all three of these files to your desktop when you're done here. Next up, EVE, Energy Visuals Enhanced. In order to install this one, again, linked down below in the description, go to the File section, and you're going to notice that there is two different versions of the file. There is the complete package and there is the installer with selectable install options specifically for Mod Organizer. And this one warns you not to use Mod Organizer. Guess which one we're going to download? That's right, the version that requires Mod Organizer. Then there is an update to the file, the 1.711 update. So again, we're going to download the alternate version, which requires you to use the mod manager. For Weapon Mods Expanded, head over to the link in the description, go to the file section for that one, and you will see there is a main file here that we need to download with Manager. There is also a couple of optional files. There is the Energy Visuals Enhanced compatibility, which we need to download. There is the DLC support, which again, we need to have. There is compatibility for Grab Bag and the Weapon Retexture project. Now we are going to grab the Weapon Retexture project later, so I'm going to download this now just so we have it on our computer. Now that we've done that, we have to go to the Project Nevada patches page, which you can see right here. Head over to the file section of this one, and we are going to go ahead and download two files from this page. We're going to download the Project Nevada EVE support file and the Project Nevada WMX support. If you're thinking, oh hey, I have the DLC, shouldn't I grab the DLC support? Don't worry, we actually grabbed that earlier with Project Nevada extra options. I can show you that right here actually. If you'd like, we can go into our thing, go to Project Nevada extra options, go to optional ESPs, and you'll see that that's already one that is available. You don't need to worry about it. So just download those two files with Manager and we can move on to the next step. It's time now to get to the actual installation part of the video. We're going to start off by installing Caliber X. This can be done with a simple double click in the Downloads tab in your Mod Organizer, clicking on Manual. Looking here, we'll notice that the main BSA is here and the ESM is here, so we should be good to go by clicking OK. You notice there's a FOMOD, don't worry about that, and you're good to go. You can check off Caliber here. Next up, we're going to go ahead and install EVE, Energy Visuals Enhanced. Go ahead and double click on this file and it will begin to extract. Again, we did grab that mod organizer version for a reason. Now it's going to ask us what we'd like to use. I have all 5 DLCs, so we're just going to go ahead and make sure that's checked off. And of course, we need to read the instructions, so, do that. Now that we've done that, hit the install button and it will begin the process of extracting the meshes and the files. I'm going to cut ahead to when that's done. Once Eve's installed, we're going to go ahead and use the updater. This is going to be the same process. Again, check 5 DLCs and hit install. When it's going to ask you to merge, make sure you check that merge button off. This one's not going to take as long though, so I won't need to cut ahead and we can move right on to our next step, which is installing Weapon Mods Expanded WMX. Okay, to install WMX, we're going to start off with the main file. Double click on this and install it normally. You can hit manual just to make sure everything's okay and then hit OK. It'll only take a few seconds, and then after that we're going to have to install some of the optional files. You'll notice that I uninstalled them earlier. That was just to get footage. Don't worry about that too much. The first thing we need to install though is the WMX DLC file. You're going to click on this and it will begin a scripted installer. From here you're going to need to select the DLC merged file. And then this is the pre-order packs, which is the classic Caravan, Mercenary, and Tribal. You probably have all of these, especially if you downloaded the game and have the Ultimate Edition and stuff, so I'm going to select the merged file. Now that I've done that, I'm going to hit Next and Install. It's going to ask us if we'd like to merge, and we are going to click the Merge button. Next up, we are going to install the Weapon Mod Expanded Eve compatibility patch, which is right here. Double click on that. It's going to ask us which version we have. We have the DLC merged, so we're going to need the second one, and we're going to hit install. Again, clicking merge for the file. While we haven't actually installed the weaponry texture project, we are going to do so, so I'm going to install this now. Now, until you actually have that installed, this is going to cause a big problem for your game. So be aware of that, you know? You gotta have that mod installed first. We're gonna be installing it later, so don't worry too much. Just click on the file, make sure you hit manual just to check that everything's good, hit OK, and the mod should be installed. Remember that this needs to load under the main file. Okay, and now we can move on to our next step, which is the Project Nevada patches. Now, we're gonna start off with the Project Nevada Eve support patch. It's right here. It's going to begin extracting, and this will only take a moment. And then the installation should be successfully done. After that, we're going to go with the Project Nevada Weapon Mods Expanded support. It's going to ask us if we'd like to merge. We're going to click merge. Yes, that does mean they're both titled Eve support, but that's easy to fix by selecting it, hitting F2, and changing the name. And that's pretty much it. However, I kind of was looking back at this and I figured there's no real reason why we can't download the weaponry texture project now. I don't know why we would put it in another video, so we're going to cover it here. Slightly out of order, but again, it's mod organizer, so it doesn't matter. Head over to the Weaponry Texture Project page on the Nexus, it'll be linked in the description below as well, and download that main file with Manager. There is some instructions that you need to read through, and there is an update here for this SMG, so we're going to go ahead and download that as well, clicking continue with my download when prompted. And then we're just going to wait for the Weaponry Texture Project to install. It's not going to take a long time, but I will cut ahead to when it's done. Okay, Weaponry Texture Project's been downloaded. Double click to install, hit manual. You're going to need to set the data directory below, and then click OK. Once that's done, you need to add the SMG, the thing that was kind of forgotten in the main file. This one is packaged correctly, so hit the merge button. We're going to check it off, and then we're just going to make sure that it is above the files that we talked about before. So I'm just going to move it to right there, and now the Weapon Mods Expanded is below it, and everything's good. And don't worry, as usual, your friendly reminder that loot is going to be used later on to fix your load order. But enough of that now, let's move on to our next step. That next step is to install War or Weapon Animation Replacers. These are the files we downloaded manually. As you can see right here, I have the Professional, the Commando, and something called the NMM version. This is the file we downloaded from Gopher's page, all on my desktop. I've gone ahead and used 7-zip to extract them into folders. I've also created a new folder that's going to be a workspace for us called War. I've gone and opened all of our folders up. As you can see, I'm using tab browsing, so just look at the top if you want to see which folder I have open, and the War folder here is blank. We're going to start off by opening up the NMM version folder and opening up the Weapon Animation Replacer FOMOD file. From here, grab all this stuff, copy it, and paste it into the war folder. After that, go over to the professional and do the same thing, copying all the contents of the folder, core animation, optional stances, etc., and pasting it into your war folder. After that, you basically just do the same thing with the commando, copying everything in that folder and pasting it into the war folder. It may ask you if you'd like to replace files. Just go ahead and hit yes. It's only referring to those INI files. After that, you can minimize this and then select the folder, the war folder on our desktop, right-clicking on it and selecting 7-zip Add to Archive. Once that zip file's been made, you can launch up your new Vegas mod organizer again, and we're going to go ahead and add the file manually by clicking right here and hitting Install Mod, then scrolling all the way to the bottom where war.7zip will be visible. After that, hit open, and it will begin to run a scripted installer. Now later on in this guide, we are going to add the option for you to pair the weapon animation replacers with the enhanced camera mod, and you'll see more about that later, but keep that in mind when you're selecting the animations you'd like to use. I'm just going to go through this menu real quick. There's two ways to aim your pistol, the professional and the gunslinger, which honestly looks a little bit more badass even though it's unrealistic. And then there's also options for things like assault rifles, how you can hold them. And you can see right here, I'm going to select option 2 for this one. I'm going to leave these both the same. For rifles, if you come over here, you'll notice that again, there's two options depending on how you like to hold it. I like this one here, it feels a little bit more badass once again. And then finally, there is the way you hold your pistol during the animations, and I personally prefer this one right here. If you are using the enhanced camera or plan on using it in the future, please keep the following image in mind. This is from the mod page from a compatibility patch, so make sure you select the options appropriately. Once you've done that, you can move on. If you don't plan on using enhanced camera, you can ignore this and just go with whatever you'd like, which is what I did in the previous clip. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the installation. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you're wondering what to watch next, I have provided 2 videos for you. You can click them right here. Get subscribed by clicking on that circle icon and subscribing to my channel, and please follow myself and Shoelace on the social medias that you see above. Thank you, and have an excellent day.